Siyam katao nasawi sa pagguho ng lupa sa Central Java region ng Indonesia.
May nakaligtas kaya na mga biktima mula sa landslide. Kamustahin po natin ang lagay ng sitwasyon doon mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi, ako po si Rikki Mathay.
Ako si Rikki, Alagao, Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong araw ng Martes.
Hirit na 15 pesos na minimum fare hike sa jeep, masusing pinag-aaralan ng LTFRB.
BFAR inabisuhan ng mga mangingisda na huwag munang maglayag sa Rosal Reef at Puerto Princesa dahil sa rocket debris ng China.
Yoon Suk-yeol dumalo na sa kanyang impeachment trial.
Donald Trump nanumpa na bilang ika-47 Pangulo ng Estados Unidos.
At magnitude 6 na lindol niyanig ang Taiwan, 27 katao sugatan. Ipinahayag ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang kanyang kasabikan na makatrabaho si US President Donald Trump. Nagpaabot din si Pangulong Marcos ng kanyang pagbati sa bagong leader ng Washington.
Binati rin ni PBBM ang mga mamamayan ng Estados Unidos para sa isa namang peaceful transition ng liderato ng kanilang pamahalaan. Binigyang diin din ng Pangulo ang malakas at umiiral na alyansa sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos. Anya, magpapatuloy pa ito sa pagsulong ng parehong pananaw ng pag-unlad at seguridad sa rehiyon.
Masusing pinag-aaralan ng Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board o LTFRB ang petisyon para itaas ang minimum fare sa jeep sa 15 pesos. Ayon sa ahensya, nauunawaan nila na ang petisyon na itaas ang pamasahe sa jeep ay dahil pa rin sa tuloy-tuloy na pagmahal o pagtaas ng presyo ng produktong petrolyo, gayon din ang tumataas sa cost of living. Anila, ikukonsidera nila ang lahat ng relevant factors katulad ng fuel price trends, inflation rates, and overall economic impact sa mga nagko-commute. Sa kasalukuyan po, ang minimum fare sa mga jeep ay nasa 13 pesos.
Inihayag ng Department of Agriculture o DA na may 2 pamilihang hindi sumunod sa maximum suggested retail price na ipinatutupad ng ahensya. Nag-ikot kasi ang pamunuan ng DA at nalaman nilang hindi sumunod ang ilang mga nagbebenta ng bigas mula sa Guadalupe Commercial Complex sa Makati at sa Pasay Public Market. Batay sa ulat ng DA, sa Guadalupe Market ay tinitinda pa rin ang 59 pesos kada kilo ng bigas habang sa Pasay Market naman ay may ilang tinderang nagbebenta umano ng hanggang 60 pesos kada kilo. Sa ilalim kasi ng maximum retail price ng DA, ang presyo ng imported rice ay hindi dapat na masihigit sa 58 piso kung ibebenta. Sakop sa polisiya na ito ang lahat ng mga pamilihan sa National Capital Region.
Muling pinaalalahanan ng Department of Migrant Workers o DMW ang publiko tungkol sa mga lumalaganap na cross-country o third-country recruitment schemes na naglipana online. Ayon po sa DMW, target nito ang biktimahin ng maraming overseas Filipino workers or OFWs. Bahagian nila ng scheme na ito ang pagkakaroon ng stopover ng isang OFW sa isang bansa bago ito magtungo sa final point of destination. Nakatanggap din anila ng ulat ang ahensya ng mga posibleng insidente ng human trafficking for forced criminality na nakikita sa mga online scam facilities at sangkot dito ang mga Pilipinong mula sa Dubai at United Arab Emirates na papuntang Nigeria at iba pang bansa sa West Africa. Hinikayat ng DMW na maging matalino ang publiko at huwag magpapaloko sa mga peking recruiter upang hindi mabiktima ng illegal recruitment, human trafficking and online scams. Maaari mag-ulat ang sinuman ng ganitong uri ng kaso sa official website at official social media ng DMW.
Ayaw isa-isang tabi ng Armed Forces of the Philippines o AFP ang posibilidad na may banyagang magpamapas sa Pilipinas. Paliwanag ng AFP, posibleng may kaugnayan ang pagkakaaresto sa isang Chinese national na hinihinalang espiya, ang pagkakadiskubre ng ilang underwater drones at mga peking identification cards na nakuha mula sa ilang dayuhang individual. Ayon kay Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, mahigpit na binabantayan ngayon ng AFP ang mga nasabing insidente. Hindi direktang tinukoy ni Trinidad na China ang nasa likod ng mga aktibidad, sinabi niyang ayaw niyang magbigay ng spekulasyon. Samantala, binanggit ni AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Padilla, iniimbestigahan nila kung may kaugnayan din ba ang naturang sitwasyon sa pagpapasara ng Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO sa bansa, kung saan may naaresto ring 2 Chinese spies.
Sinabi ng Department of the Interior and Local Government o DILG na ilulunsad kada buwan sa bawat rehiyon ng Pilipinas ang 911 Emergency Hotline. Ayon kay DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla, target ng ahensyang makapagpadala ng responder sa loob lamang ng 3 minuto mula sa oras ng pagtanggap ng tawag, lalo na sa National Capital Region. Subalit, malaking hamon anya sa DILG ang mataas na bilang ng mga prank calls na nasa 60%. Kaya magpapadala muna sila ng barangay responders upang i-verify kung totoo ang naitawag na insidente sa 911. Maaari rin anya nilang gamitin ang video streaming upang masuri kaagad ang naiulat na sitwasyon.
Furthermore, yung 911 will have from caller to call center to dispatch, integrated na lahat. Kasama na ang body camera at locator device ng bawat police car at body camera ng bawat police responder. It will also have hyperlinks to video. So kung naka-WhatsApp video ka, pinapakita mo kung ano nangyayari, may bibigilan na hyperlink sa iyo. At on the spot, may doctor na pwede mag-advise or police na pwede mag-advise kung anong gagawin. So it will be the state-of-the-art system which will be according to world standards ang gagawin natin. So
Samantala, nag-aalboroto pa rin ang bulkang Kanlaon sa Negros Island, kung saan nakapagtala ng 12 volcanic earthquakes ang PHIVOLCS. Ayon sa ahensya, nagkaroon din ng 5 ash emissions ang bulkan at naglabas ng 3,733 tonelada ng sulfur dioxide at katamtamang 300 meters na taas ng plume. Nanatili naman inflated o maga ang gilid ng bulkan. Kasalukuyang nakataas ang alert level 3 sa bulkang Kanlaon mula nang sumabog ito noong December 9, 2024.
Inabisuhan na ng Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources o BIFAR na bawal muna maglayag ang mga mangingisda sa Rosul Reef at sa karagatan ng Puerto Princesa, Palawan dahil sa posibleng pagbagsak ng rocket debris ng China. Sa ibinabang advisory ng BIFAR, epektibo ito mula January 25 hanggang 27 sa mga oras mula alas 5 ng hapon hanggang alas 9 ng gabi. Nilinaw ng ahensyang ang mga ito ay drop zone sa paglunsad ng Long March 8A rocket ng China mula sa Wenchang spacecraft launch site sa Hainan. Inaasahang babagsak ang rocket debris sa 106 nautical miles mula sa Rosul Reef, 34 nautical miles mula sa Puerto Princesa and 34 nautical miles mula Haji Muhammad Basilan. Nagbabala ang Philippine Space Agency sa publiko laban sa pagkuha ng mga rocket debris dahil maaaring may lason umano ang mga materialis nito katulad na lamang ng rocket fuel. Susunod, Yoon Suk-yeol dumalo sa kanyang impeachment trial.
Suspect sa Indian doctor rape case hinatulan na.
At Donald Trump formal nang nanumpa bilang presidente ng Estados Unidos. Mga detalye po na mga balitang yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This portion is
Francis Leo Antonio Marcos versus Comelec. Francis Marcos is
Alhamdulillah. Kamu mana?
Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa New Era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Dumalo sa unang pagkakataon ng South Korean President na si Yoon Suk-yeol sa Constitutional Court upang harapin ang kinaharap nitong impeachment complaint.
포고령 제1호는 위조항에 따라서 국회의 어떤 불법적인 행동이 있으면 그것을 금지하고자 한 것이지 결코 국회의 해산을 명하거나 또는 국회의 입법 활동이나 국회의 비상계엄 해제 결의를 위한 의정 활동 등 정상적인 국회 활동을 금지하고자 한 것은 아니었습니다.
Lumaki ang political chaos sa South Korea nang nagdeklarasyon ng martial law na tumagal ng 6 na oras lamang, kaya't ito ang nag-udyok sa mga mambabatas doon na pababain ito sa pwesto. Si Yoon ang kauna-unahang nakaupong pangulo sa South Korea na nahaharap sa ganitong mga legal na pagsisiyasat at inaresto tungkol sa kasong may kaugnayan sa insurrection grounds na nagdagdag pa ng lamat sa krisis pangpolitika ng bansa. Kaugnay nito, ang kanyang legal na koponan naman ay nagsisikap na ipagtanggol ang kanyang mga aksyon habang itinuturing ang pagdeklara ng martial law bilang isang pangunahing hakbang at tugon sa umano'y pandaraya sa eleksyon na anila ay naging dahilan ng malaking tagumpay ng oposisyon sa nakaraang taon na halalan. Samantala, mahalagang magiging desisyon ng Constitutional Court dahil kung ito ay magpapatibay sa impeachment, tatanggalin si Yoon sa kanyang pwesto at magkakaroon ng halalan sa loob ng 60 araw upang pumili ng bagong pangulo ng South Korea.
대한민국에서 국회와 언론은 대통령보다 훨씬 강한 초갑입니다. 만약에 제가 무리를 해서 계엄 해제 요구 의결을 못하게 한다 해서 국회 아니라 다른 장소에서도 할 수 있고 그 이후에 얼마든지 계엄 해제 요구를 할 수가 있습니다.
Pinatawan naman ng panghabang buhay na sentensya ang isang police volunteer na suspect umano sa panggagahasa ng isang doktora sa Kolkata province sa India.
कैपिटल पनिशमेंट हम लोग मांगा था सीबीआई का तरफ से और फैमिली का तरफ से फिर भी कोर्ट जो बोला ये रेयरेस्ट मैटर नहीं है, इसलिए हम फांसी का सजा नहीं सुना रहे। हम उनके मृत्यु कारावास 66 के बारे में और 64 एंड 103(1) के बीएनएस एक्ट के बारे में उनका यावज्जीवन कारावास का उनका घोषणा दिया कोर्ट।
Matatandaang noong Agosto 9 noong nakaraang taon, natagpo ang duguan at wala ng buhay ang babaeng doktor sa state-run RG Kar Medical College and Hospital sa West Bengal State sa India. Batay naman sa isinagawang otopsiya, positibong hinalay ang biktima bago ito brutal na pinaslang. Nagresulta ang insidente ng rape slay na ito sa malawakang kilos protesta sa mga medical practitioners at mga kababaihan sa New India. Nanawagan ng Indian Medical Association kay Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ng hustisya para sa namatay na doktor at tiyakin ang seguridad ng mga medical practitioners. Sa kabila ng panawagan na ipapatay si Police Volunteer Sanjay Roy ay nagpasya ang korte na ipasa ang life sentence sa halip na death penalty dahil hindi naman daw madalang mangyari ang ganitong kaso sa India. Patuloy ang pagtaangas ng kaso ng rape and sexual assault sa India na naging sanhi ng kabi-kabilang paghingi ng hustisya ng mga kababaihan sa naturang bansa.
हम लोग चाहते हैं कि इससे भी बड़ा पनिशमेंट होना चाहिए था। ये छोटा सा पनिशमेंट हुआ है। हम लोग और भी जगह पे हम लोग जहाँ रिक्वेस्ट
Pag-asa agad ang atid ng unang araw ng ceasefire sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas. Ito'y matapos sabihin ng United Nations na may 600 humanitarian aid trucks na ang nakapasok sa Gaza Strip noong linggo. Kalahati sa bilang nito ay dumiretso agad sa hilagang bahagi ng Gaza upang bigyan ng tulong ang mga salat sa pagkain at gamot doon. Si Mala Simbulan para sa karagdagang mga detalye.
Pumasok sa Gaza Strip ang mga truck ng tulong sa unang araw ng ceasefire deal. Ayon kay United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres, ginagawa ng ahensya ang lahat upang mapadali at maparami pa ang delivery ng humanitarian aid.
While many challenges lie ahead, we should appreciate the long overdue relief this moment provides for Palestinians in Gaza and the hostages reunited with their loved ones. We are doing our part to ensure the rapid scaling up of humanitarian deliveries. More than 630 trucks with humanitarian aid entered Gaza yesterday, at least 300 of them to the north.
Samantala, sinabi naman sa konseho ni United States Deputy Ambassador to the United Nations Dorothy Shea na ngayon ang panahon upang tiyakin ng lahat na makarating ang tulong sa kinauukulan.
No one benefits from a deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, least of all the millions of Palestinian civilians mired in a conflict they did not start and are powerless to stop. Colleagues, now is the time for all parties to ensure critical aid reaches those in need throughout Gaza. We urge countries to support this effort through funding and resources and to help scale up much-needed humanitarian aid.
Samantala, humarap rin sa konseho ang Palestinian Authority Foreign Minister Bassem Agabekyan. Sinabi nitong handa silang patakbuhin ang Gaza Strip at ang West Bank.
نخاطبكم اليوم في مجلس الأمن وقلوبنا مثقلة بالألم والغضب لما تعرض له شعبنا الفلسطيني في قطاع غزة من قتل وتشريد وحصار وتجويع وغالبيتهم من الأطفال والنساء والشيوخ علاوة على التدمير المتعمد لكل شيء. وعليه نؤكد أن الحكومة الفلسطينية جاهزة لتولي مسؤولية إدارة قطاع غزة إلى جانب الضفة الغربية، وذلك بالتعاون مع الدول والمنظمات الصديقة والشقيقة، بما في ذلك إعادة تقديم الخدمات الأساسية الصحية والتعليمية والمياه والكهرباء، وضمان عودة النازحين إلى منازلهم والتجهيز لمرحلة إعادة الإعمار. كما أننا ملتزمون بإدارة المعابر بالتعاون مع الاتحاد الأوروبي ومصر وفقا لاتفاق 2005، ونشير في هذا الصدد إلى ترحيبنا بأي مساعدات في مجال تدريب وتجهيز قوات الشرطة والأمن الفلسطينية، ونتطلع لمساعدة الدول الشقيقة والصديقة في جميع المجالات لإخراج قطاع غزة وأهلها المنكوبين من هذه الكارثة الإنسانية التي يعانون منها.
Bilang tugon, sinabi naman ni Roy Shapir Ben Naftali, ang political coordinator ng Israeli mission to the UN, na kailangan tugunan ng ahensya ang anyay barbaridad na ginawa ng Hamas sa Israel at sa Gaza mismo.
Hamas has turned Gaza into a fortress of terror, sacrificing the civilians to shield their operations. It has weaponized schools, mosques, hospitals, and UN facilities, transforming them into instruments of war. This barbarity demands a resolute and united response from the international community. Failing to act decisively against Hamas sends a dangerous message to other terrorist organizations that such tactics are permissible. It is a test of our collective will to uphold international law and human dignity. The families of the hostages and the people of Israel know that this moment is only the beginning. This war will not end until every hostage is returned and Hamas's ability to terrorize is dismantled. We will not rest until every one of them is back home. We will not stop until the threat of Hamas is eliminated. And we will never forget the price that has been paid by the innocent. Thank you, Mr. President.
Batay sa pagsusuri ng UN, bilyon-bilyong dolyar ang kakailanganin upang itayong muli ang Gaza. Ito ay matapos ang 15 buwang labanan sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas. May dasimbulan para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Nakapasok na sa Gaza ang pinaka-aabangang aid trucks mula sa World Food Program. Nangyari po ito sa unang araw ng pagpapatupad ng tigil putukan sa pagitan ng Israel and Gaza. Ana Kui para sa karagdagang detalye.
Ilang buwan ding naipit ang tulong papasok ng Gaza dahil sa walang tigil na labanan sa pagitan ng Israel at Hamas. At dahil sa walang humpay na pagpapasabog ng Israel, nawasak na halos lahat ng mga daan sa teritoryo. Dagdag pa dyan ang mga pagnanakaw at paninira sa mga iilang aid trucks na nakakapasok. Gayon din ang pagbagsak ng seguridad, batas at kaayusan sa buong Gaza dahil sa 15 buwang gyera. Ngunit ngayong pinagtibay na ang ceasefire deal, sinabi ni World Food Program Country Director Antoine Reynard na tiniyak sa kanya na nakapasok ng payapa ang unang bugso ng aid trucks papasok ng Gaza. Ani Reynard, umaasa siyang patuloy ang ganitong daloy ng aid delivery kasama na ang pananatiling ligtas ng aid staff ng ahensya.
You can see it behind me. We have now goods coming. We can make sure that 1.1 million people that are on food crisis can get the right assistance with the fact that now, no looting when we were coming from the crossing. We hope that in the next coming days, weeks, we will have the same security. Our staff will be safe. The population will be safe. They are able to go back to where they belong, and we will be able to serve them and follow them with what needs to be a long-lasting ceasefire.
Naghiyawan sa tuwa ang Palestinians ilang oras bago magsimula ang tigil putukan noong Linggo habang dumadaan ng mga truck, lulan ang langis at supply ng aid sa crossing. Ayon sa kasunduan, 600 truck ng aid ang kailangang papasukin sa Gaza kada araw sa unang 6 na linggo ng ceasefire. Kasama rito ang 50 may dalang langis. Kalahati sa 8 trucks ay didiretso sa hilagang bahagi ng Gaza kung saan matindi ang gutom na pinagdaraanan ng mga residente. Ana Kui para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Ukol pa rin sa Gaza ceasefire deal, hindi pinalampas ni United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres ang pagkakataong magbigay ng pahayag ukol sa makasaysayang kasunduan. Ani Guterres, nakaantabay na tumulong ang ahensya upang matiyak na maisakatuparan ang nasabing kasunduan at mapadalhan ng tulong ang mga taga-Gaza. Si Michelle Berzonilla para sa karagdagang detalye.
Noong Miyerkules matapos i-anunsyo ng negotiators na inaprubahan na ang Gaza Truce Deal, sinabi ni UN Chief Antonio Guterres na ang dapat unahin ngayon ay ibsan ng matinding paghihirap na idinulot ng gerang Israel at Hamas.
I welcome the announcement of a deal to secure a ceasefire and hostage release in Gaza. I commend the mediators, Egypt, Qatar, and the United States of America, for their dedicated efforts in brokering this deal. Their unwavering commitment to finding a diplomatic solution has been critical in achieving this breakthrough. I call on all relevant parties to uphold their commitments and ensure that this deal is fully implemented. From the outset of the violence, I've called for an immediate ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. Our priority now must be to ease the tremendous suffering caused by this conflict. The United Nations stands ready to support the implementation of this deal and scale up the delivery of sustained humanitarian relief to the countless Palestinians who continue to suffer.
Ilang beses nang inilarawan ni Guterres na malasakuna ang sitwasyon sa teritoryo. Catastrophic ang salitang kadalasang ginagamit nito patungkol sa humanitarian crisis sa Gaza. At ngayong may kasunduan na nananawagan si Guterres sa lahat ng partido na tiyaking masunod ang kasunduan upang wag nang maantala ang pagdaloy ng tulong sa Gaza.
It is imperative that this ceasefire removes the significant security and political obstacles to delivering aid across Gaza so that we can support a major increase in urgent life-saving humanitarian support. The humanitarian situation is at catastrophic levels, and I call on all parties to facilitate the rapid, unhindered and safe humanitarian relief for all civilians in need. From our side, we will do whatever is humanly possible, aware of the serious challenges and constraints that we face. But we expect our efforts to be matched by other humanitarian actors, the private sector, and bilateral initiatives.
Sa loob ng 15 buwang gera, nauwi na halos ang buong teritoryo sa gumuhong mga gusali, wasak na mga kalye, at makailang beses na lumikas ang may 2.3 milyong katao. Ani Guterres, critical na masunod ang kasunduan upang mabigyang daan ang pangmatagalang kapayapaan sa rehiyon.
This deal is a critical first step, but we must mobilize all efforts to also advance broader goals, including the preservation of the unity, contiguity and integrity of the occupied Palestinian territory, because Palestinian unity is essential for achieving lasting peace and stability. And I emphasize that unified Palestinian governance must remain a top priority. I urge the parties and all relevant partners to seize this opportunity to establish a credible political path to a better future for Palestinians, Israelis, and the broader region, ending the occupation and achieving a negotiated two-state solution with Israel and Palestine living side by side in peace and security, in line with international law, relevant UN resolutions and previous agreements, remain an urgent priority. Only through a viable two-state solution can the aspirations of both peoples be fulfilled.
Nagbigay ng pagkilala si Guterres sa mga nagbuwis ng buhay dahil sa gera, kabilang ang UN personnel at humanitarian workers.
I pay tribute to the civilians who have lost their lives, including UN personnel and humanitarian workers. And the United Nations is steadfast in its commitment to supporting all efforts that promote peace, stability, and a more hopeful future for the people of Palestine and Israel and across the region. Thank you.
Sa panahon ng gera, humarap ang UN sa maraming balakid dahil sa operasyong militar ng Israel. Gayon din ang pagharang nito sa mga akses, papasok at sa kabuuan ng Gaza. At kamakailan ang suliranin ukol sa pagnanakaw ng armadong gangs. Sa kasalukuyan, pinaplansya pa ang mga detalye kung paanong mapadadaloy ang bugso ng tulong para sa Gaza. Ani Guterres, sa kabila ng mga hadlang, gagawin ng UN ang lahat upang magtagumpay sa pamamahagi ng tulong. Kasama sa kasunduan ang pagpapapasok sa Gaza ng may 600 truck ng tulong kada araw sa loob ng unang 6 na linggo. Kabilang rito ang 50 may dalang langis, Kalahati sa 600 truck ay didiretso sa hilagang bahagi ng Gaza kung saan matindi, malala ang gutom. Michelle Verzonilla para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected on point.
Sa Gaza City po, nagdiwang ang isang grupo ng mga residente matapos makarating ang balitang may ceasefire agreement na sa laban ng Israel and Hamas. Emmy Capiritaroa para sa detalye ng balita.
Ayon sa Gaza Ceasefire Agreement, may paunang 6 na linggong yugto ang tigil putukan. Kasama rito ang pag-atras ng puwersang Israel mula sa Gaza Strip. Gayon din ang pagpapalaya sa natitira pang mga bihag ng Hamas kapalit ng mga bihag ng Israel. Sa gitna ng mga detalyeng ito, isa sa mga kinasasabikan ng Gazans ay makatulog ng payapa. Ayon sa mga residenteng makailang ulit ng lumikas dahil sa 15 buwang labanan, ngayon lang sila muling makakakain at makakapagpahinga ng matiwasay.
شبيت الواحد ينام مرتاح ينام اخيم المهم ينام مرتاح يا اخي احنا فوق السنه 3 اشهر قاعدين مش عارفين لا ناكل ولا نشرب ولا ننام ولا نقعد كل ساعه بنقول ندعي الله وتوقف الحرب احنا يا جماعه بدنا نريح بدنا نعيش بامان ونشكر الله ونحمده الا في هذه الساعه سمعنا خبر كويس الحمد لله.
Pinangunahan ng mga bansang Egypt at Qatar ang pamamagitan sa usaping ceasefire. Ito ay sa suporta ng Estados Unidos na ilang araw mula ngayon ay sasailalim na sa panibagong administrasyon. Manunumpa si Republican President-elect Donald Trump sa Lunes sa inauguration ceremony nila ni Vice President-elect J.D. Vance sa U.S. Capitol. Emmy Capiritaroa para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Isang makasaysayang pagbabalik pwesto sa muling pag-upo sa White House ni President Donald Trump. Sa ikalawang pagkakataon ay nagtaas ng kanang kamay si Trump upang manumpa at manilbihan bilang presidente ng Estados Unidos. At sa kanyang unang araw, lumagdan agad ito ng mga kontrobersyal na executive orders. Narito ang report ni Rosel Feria.
Kada 4 na taon dito sa Estados Unidos, pinanunumpa sa panunungkulan ang President-elect at Vice President-elect ng bansa. Ito ay higit 2 buwan matapos ihalal ang mga ito ng mga botante sa bansa. At ngayon ngang 20 ng Enero 2025, nagtaas ng kanang kamay si Donald Trump bilang ika-47 Pangulo ng bansa. Kasama si J.D. Vance na nanumpa naman bilang ika-50 Vice Presidente ng Estados Unidos. Sa panunumpang ito ng 78-year-old na si Trump, marami ang nag-aabang sa masalimuot na 4 na taong termino kasabay ng mga pangakong sagarin ang hangganan ng kapangyarihan bilang Pangulo. Bandang alas 12 ng tanghali nang tumayo si Trump sa rotonda ng U.S. Capitol. Nanumpa itong pangangalagaan, poprotektahan at ipagsasanggalang ang konstitusyon ng Estados Unidos.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Pinangunahan ni Chief Justice John Roberts ang ikalawang panunumpa ni Trump bilang leader ng U.S. Nanumpa rin si Vice President J.D. Vance bago si Trump. Sa kanyang unang talumpati bilang ika-47 Pangulo ng U.S., kasama sa mga binitiwang pahayag ni Trump ay ang pagsisimula ng ginintoang panahon para sa Amerika, ang pagkondena ng sistema ng edukasyon at kalusugan ngayon sa bansa, pag-aksyon sa usaping imigrasyon, enerhiya at kalakalan, kasama ang pangakong dedepensahan ang U.S. border laban sa mga banta at sa iligal na mga migrante, pagpapataw ng taripa at paglaban sa inflation. Nagbitiw rin ng pahayag ang bagong Pangulo na sa kanyang administrasyon, 2 lang ang kasarian, babae at lalaki. Ipinangako rin ni Trump na pababalikin ang mga sundalong naalis dahil tumangging magpabakuna laban sa COVID. Tatanggapaan niya ang mga ito ng back pay. Ayon kay Trump, papalitan niya ng pangalan ang Gulf of Mexico, Denali at Panama Canal. at pipilitin anya ng kanyang administrasyon na makapaglagay ng US flag sa planetang Mars.
The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Kinagabihan bilang pagtupad agad sa kanyang mga pangako, nagsimulang lumagda ng executive order si Trump. Kabilang dito ang pagkansela ng 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda at iba pa. Pagkalas ng Estados Unidos sa Paris Climate Treaty at ang full pardon ng higit sa 1,500 mga sangkot sa January 6, 2021 assault sa US Capitol. Ang panunumpa ni Trump ay ang dulo ng kanyang matagumpay na pagbabalik para sa isang politiko na dumaan sa 2 impeachment trials, 1 felony conviction, 2 assassination attempts at 1 indictment dahil sa pagtatangkang baliktarin ang kanyang pagkatalo sa eleksyon noong 2020. Ang seremonya ay inilipat sa loob ng Kapitolyo dahil sa sobrang lamig ng temperatura. Ito ay 4 na taon matapos lusubin ng mga taga-suporta ni Trump ang gusaling simbolo ng demokrasya ng bansa. Hindi nagtagumpay ang mga manunugod na kontrahin ang resulta ng 2020 election. Kaninang umaga, sabay na umalis ng White House si Trump at ang kanyang papalitang si Pangulong Joe Biden patungong Capitol. Dumaan ang mga sasakyan ng 2 pangulo at mga escort nito sa downtown DC kung saan sa kabila ng matinding lamig nakaabang kapwa ang mga taga-suporta ng bagong pangulo at ang mga nakikiusyoso sa mga kaganapan. Rosel Feria, Washington DC para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Bumuhos po ang pagbate kay US President Donald Trump matapos ang kanyang panunumpa bilang ika-47 Pangulo ng Estados Unidos. Nanguna si King Charles III na nagpaabot ng pagbati matapos ang panunumpa ni Trump. Umaasa itong magiging mas lalong mahigpit pa ang ugnayan ng dalawang bansa sa usapin ng ekonomiya. Sinundan naman ito ng pagbati ni UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer na umaasa namang makikipagtulungan sa kanila ang Estados Unidos dahil sa matagal nitong history ng pakikiisa sa United Kingdom.
On behalf of His Majesty's Government and the United Kingdom, I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States. For centuries, the relationship between our two nations has been one of collaboration, cooperation, and enduring partnership. It is a uniquely close bond. Together, we have defended the world from tyranny and worked towards our mutual security and prosperity. With President Trump's long-standing affection and historical ties to the United Kingdom, I know that depth of friendship will continue. The United Kingdom and the United States will work together to ensure the success of both our countries and deliver for people on both sides of the Atlantic. Since our first meeting in September, the President and I have spoken about the need to deepen and invest in the transatlantic relationship. We will continue to build upon the unshakable foundations of our historic alliance as we tackle together the global challenges we face and take our partnership to the next level, focused on shared opportunities ahead for growth. I look forward to our next meeting as we continue our shared mission to ensure the peace, prosperity, and security of our two great nations. The special relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States will continue to flourish for many years to come.
Inihayag naman ni Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas na handa sila makatrabaho si Trump para makamit ang tunay na kapayapaan. Personal na dumalo si Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni at binati niya si Trump kung saan namang sinabi nitong handa itong tumulong para mapaisa ang pag-uusap ng US at ng Europa. Plano naman ni Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu personal na bisitahin si Trump. Ayon sa kanya, handa maaaring pag-usapan nila ang magiging normal na relasyon ng dalawang bansa, gayon din ang ceasefire deal sa Hamas.
Congratulations, President Trump. Sarah and I send our warmest wishes to you, Melania, and the American people on your second inauguration as President of the United States. I believe that working together again, we will raise the U.S.-Israel alliance to even greater heights. I'm confident that we will complete the defeat of Iran's terror axis and usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for our region. On behalf of the people of Israel, I also want to thank you for your efforts in helping free Israeli hostages. I look forward to working with you to return the remaining hostages, to destroy Hamas's military capabilities and end its political rule in Gaza, and to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. I'm sure, Mr. President, that under your leadership, the best days of our alliance are yet to come.
Naniniwala naman si European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen na mapapalakas ang defense spending and production dahil sa pag-upo ni Trump. Tinawag naman ni Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky na ang panunumpa ni Trump bilang araw ng pagbabago at pag-asa. Tiwala ito na mareresolba na ang anumang problema at hamon sa mundo dahil sa pag-upo ni Trump.
І зараз для цього є хороший шанс. Інаугурація нового президента Сполучених Штатів Дональда Трампа. Він сильна людина. Я бажаю успіху президенту Трампу всій Америці. Українці готові працювати разом з американцями, щоб досягти миру, справжнього миру. Це шанс. Шанс, яким потрібно скористатись. Слава Україні!
Susunod, Taiwan niyanig ng malakas na lindol.
Ito nakakagulat ha, Melania Trump naglabas na rin ng sariling cryptocurrency.
At mga sikat na atleta dumalo sa inaugurasyon ni Donald Trump. Yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Leo Antonio Marcos versus Comelec. Francis Marcos is...
Alhamdulillah. Kamu mana?
Ngayong Sabado, sa Motorcycle Republic.
Ang maganda dito, itong Cape Mohidor Lighthouse. Nung mga 1890s pa simula ginamit to, under dun sa Spanish administration. Eh hanggang ngayon, operational pa rin siya.
Salamat, Bayadak! Motorcycle Republic!
Marami po nagulat sa biglang pagyanig ng lupa sa timog Taiwan ngayong Martes. Ayon sa US Geological Survey o USGS, tumama ang isang magnitude 6 na lindol doon kung saan 27 katao ang nasaktan. Pero sa scale ng Taiwan Central Weather Administration, ang lakas ng nasabing lindol ay nasa magnitude 6.4. Naganap ito bandang 12:17 ng umaga at ang epicenter ng nasabing lindol ay naitala sa layong 12 kilometers hilaga ng Eugene. Wala pa namang napaulat na nasawi dahil sa lindol at kasalukuyang binubusisi ng mga otoridad ang pinsalang naganap sa mga apektadong lugar.
Higit sa 20 katao ang nasawi sa gitna ng umiiral na karahasan sa Colombia, habang 11,000 mga residente naman doon ang nawalan ng tirahan. Ayon sa ulat ng mga otoridad sa lugar, naglunsad ang rebelding grupong National Liberation Army sa Catatumbo laban sa puwersa ng FARC guerrilla. Kinumpirma ni Governor William Villamizar na may naipit na mga civilians mula sa girian ng dalawang kampo. May ulat din ang opisina ng Ombudsman na nagbabahay-bahay ang mga rebelde at pinapatay ang mga taong hinihinala nilang mga miyembro ng FARC. Dahil dito ay suspendido na ang lahat ng mga pasok sa mga paaralan sa apektadong rehiyon. Ayon naman kay Colombian Defense Minister Ivan Velasquez, ginawang shelters na ang mga silid-aralan doon para makatulong sa mga residenteng inilikas mula sa kaguluhan. Itinigil na rin ni Colombian President Gustavo Petro ang negosasyon sa rebelding grupo at inakusahan ang mga ito na gumawa ng war crimes.
Patuloy ang paghahanap ng mga rescue team sa Indonesia matapos ang pagguho ng lupa sa syudad ng Pekalongan sa Central Java. Ayon sa ulat ng Regional Disaster Mitigation Agency, nasawi ang 16 na katao habang sugatan ang ibang 10. Natrigger ang landslide dahil sa malakas na buhos ng ulan sa lugar. Pinaniniwalaan din na mas pinatindi ng deforestation and illegal mining operations ang pinsalang dulot ng pagguho ng lupa.
Nilamon ng apoy ang isang ski resort hotel sa Turkiye na ikinasawi naman ng 10 katao. Kinumpirma ni Turkish Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya na may nasaktan din na 32 katao na kasalukuyang nagpapagamot sa ospital. Ayon kay Yerlikaya, bandang 3:27 ng umaga nang sumiklab ang apoy sa Grand Kartal Hotel. Matatagpuan ang resort sa ituktok ng isang bundok, mga 170 kilometers ang layo hilagang kanluran ng Ankara. Pinaniniwala ang nagsimula ang apoy sa restaurant ng resort at mabilis itong kumalat sa buong gusali. Hindi patukoy ang talagang pinagmula ng apoy sa resort. Batay sa ulat ng local media, mayroong higit sa 200 katao ang tumutuloy sa loob ng hotel nang maganap ang sunog. Agad namang nailikas ang mga ito sa kalapit na hotels. Sinabi naman ni Justice Minister Ilmas Tunk na may inatasan na siyang 6 na prosecutors para imbestigahan ang sunog.
Pagkatapos po ng kanyang asawa, ay naglunsad din ang incoming US First Lady na si Melania Trump ng sarili nitong cryptocurrency. Ito po ay kasunod nga ng anunsyo ni US President Donald Trump na bagong token na Trump cryptocurrency. Sinabi ng First Lady na pwede na makabili ng Melania crypto coin at pinomonitoraan niya ito ng Solana blockchain. Ayon sa website ng CoinMarketCap, ang total market valuation ng Trump coin ay halos $12 billion na, samantalang ang Melania crypto coin ay nasa $1.7 billion. Inilunsad po ng China ang kanilang JUVIS Low Altitude Cloud, isang komprehensibong service platform na nakadisenyo para maging suporta para sa mas precise na airspace management. Ayon sa JUVIS Technology, ang kumpanyang nasa likod ng platform, napapanahon ito dahil sa lumalagong Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing o OVTOL aircraft industry sa China. Layo ng cloud platform na ito na maging navigation system para sa mga low-altitude airspace in real time. Gumagamit din ang platform ng integrating data mula sa Digital Earth products and satellite system ng JUVIS para tiyakin ang kaligtasan ng mga aircraft. Giit ng JUVIS, inaasahan nilang magiging innovative solution ito sa mga government regulators and enterprises na sangkot sa mga low-altitude aviation services. Ayon naman sa Civil Aviation Administration, pagsapit ng 2025, inaasahang papalo sa 1.5 trillion yuan o higit po yan sa $200 billion ang magiging market size ng low-altitude aviation economy ng China.
Pirmado na ni US President Donald Trump ang executive order para ma-delay ang implementasyon ng panukalang batas na ipagbawal ang TikTok sa Estados Unidos. Sa ilalim ng kautusan, maaantala ng 75 araw ang TikTok ban para bigyang daan ang administrasyon ni Trump na muling suriin ang mga kilos ng TikTok. Inuutusan din ng nasabing mandato ang Justice Department na mag-issue ng liham sa mga kumpanya katulad ng Apple, Google at Oracle na naglalaman ng mga pahayag na that there has been no violation of the statute and that there is no liability for any conduct that occurred during the above specified period. At kung tatanungin naman si Trump kung ano ang TikTok order na kanyang pinirmahan, ang sagot niya ay bibigyan lamang siya ng karapatan nito na ibenta o isara na lamang ang TikTok. Anya, kailangan niyang magpasya sa magiging kapalaran ng kumpanya.
Dumalo ang ilang mga kilalang sports personalities sa panunumpa ni US President Donald Trump. Kinabibilangan ito ni UFC President Dana White and UFC commentator Joe Rogan. Personal na inibitahan ni Trump si UFC heavyweight fighter John Jones. Sinabi ni Jones sa kanyang mga pumuna sa kanya ay kahit na anong political party nila ay isa siyang American. At personal itong inimbitahan ng US President. Maguguritang noong nakaraang taon ay personal na nanonood si Trump sa laban ni Jones kay Step Miocic. Patapos ang panalo ni Jones sa ikatlong round, ay ibinigay niya ang kanyang championship belt kay Trump. Ilan din na naimbitahan ay sina Conor McGregor, Mike Tyson, Antonio Brown at ang ilang mga kilalang US football players.
At sa iba pang mga balita, ngayong Enero ay nagsagawa ang Japan ng pinakamalaking jewelry fair nito sa Tokyo. Mula sa makikinang na mga perlas hanggang sa mga mamahaling bato ay itinampok ng mga jewelry companies mula South Asia at Southeast Asia ang kanilang mga produkto sa publiko. Ang event na ito kasi ay pagkakataon sa mga jewelers na mang-akit ng mga customer nila. Sa kabila ng tumataas na presyo ng ginto ay sumasabay na rin ang pagsirit ng presyo ng perlas. Ang halaga kasi ng perlas sa merkado ay dumoble na kung ikukumpara sa nakalipas na 3 taon. Tumaas kasi ang demand ng mga perlas na naging sanhi ng market price nito. Sa event na rin ito ay matutunghayan ang tanyag na Akoya Pearl na kilala sa mataas na kalidad nito at reputasyon sa Japan. Ang halaga kasi nito ay pumapatak mula 10 million hanggang 20 million yen o $64,000 hanggang $130,000. Ayon sa mga organizers ng event, ngayong taon dinayo ang jewelry fair ng halos 23,000 buyers kapwa mula sa domestic at international markets kasama ang nasa 650 exhibiting companies para itampok ang higit sa 1.3 million items sa publiko.
Nag-aalok naman po ngayon ang major domestic online travel agency ng China, ang Trip.com, ng libreng half-day trip sa palibot ng Beijing para sa lahat po yan ng international travelers. Layo ng serbisyong ito na umakit ng mga international transit passengers at ipakita ang ganda ng Beijing, gayon din ang iparanas ang Chinese culture. Kasama sa serbisyong ipagkakaloob sa trip ay libreng shuttle buses, multilingual guides, tickets sa mga attractions and internet access para mapasaya ang mga biyahero habang nililibot nila ang kabisera ng China. Para maka-avail ng libreng serbisyong ito, tumungo lamang ang mga nagnanais sa gathering point ng Terminal 3 ng Beijing Capital International Airport.
12月27号正式开始的，然后到今天大概也就20多天的时间，然后每天分2次，早上7点半一班去长城，然后下午是1点半，然后走室内游。我大概总共有走了10几个，来自澳大利亚、意大利、英国，还有这个欧洲的，主要欧洲的比较多一些。
Isang paramdam na naman ito, Rikki. Pinibigyan tayo ng ito mo, isang hapon, half-day trip, palibot ng Beijing. Saan ka pa?
Half-day lang yun. So by the time na alas 9:30 na, nandito na tayo, nakabalik na tayo para magbigay ng international.
Oo, kayang-kaya
at ito nga, it's a sign na nakita mo yung isang pasaherong sumasakay ng bus, kakulay natin.
Ay, para bang nagparamdam na
di bale.
Hindi malayong mangyari.
Tandaan mo, punta tayo sa Terminal 3 ng China Airport. Hindi po dyan sa naiya
agahan natin kasi pihadong maraming pipila dyan kasi it's offered for free. Walang bayaran.
Alam mo naman, sabi nga nila, kahit na mayaman, basta libre.
Alam mo yan.
Diba? Ayan na si Direk, naghahanap na sa trip.com.
Oo, agad-agad.
Libre tayo ni Direk
hindi na
mamaya.
makapaghihintay. Ayun.
Pero ito, hindi niya na kailangang hintayin dahil narito na po siya, si Alma Angeles, para sa ibang balita. Subalit tandaan ha, mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, narito kami para maghatid ng balita ni Nina sa anumang dako ng mundo. Magandang gabi po. Ako po muli si Rikki Mathay.
Ako si Nina Rikki, Alagao, Flores. Ito pa rin ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman po sa iba pang mga balitang nangyari rin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo ay punta po tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Rikki. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for Net 25 World News. On tonight's headlines.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Donald Trump is officially the 47th President of the United States after being sworn in last night. Following the ceremony, he delivered a 29-minute speech proclaiming the golden age of America begins right now. And the news starts now. Donald J. Trump has been sworn in as the 47th President of the U.S., marking his return to office after previously serving as the 45th President. Now, this makes him only the second U.S. leader after Grover Cleveland to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Take a look.
Every 4 years here in the United States, the President-elect and the Vice President-elect of the country take oath. This almost 3 months after being voted during general elections. And today, January 20, 2025, Donald Trump took oath as the 47th President of the country. Alongside him is J.D. Vance, who took oath as the 50th Vice President of the United States. Around noon Monday, a victorious Trump stood at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. With Chief Justice John Roberts administering the swearing-in, 78-year-old Trump took the oath for the U.S. presidency a second time.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
In his inaugural address as the 47th President, he says his presidency would mark the end of America's decline.
From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government.
And his second term in office would usher in the golden age of the U.S.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
He also echoes his campaign speeches where he promised to crack down on illegal immigration the day he retakes office.
Today,
among the things he says he would do, rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, take back Panama, put an American flag on the planet Mars, do away with the electric vehicle mandate so the American auto industry could thrive, and focus on energy sources such as oil, saying drill, baby, drill. He also mentioned the U.S. government would only recognize two genders, male and female.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
The inauguration of Trump capped off his unprecedented political comeback, surviving 2 assassination attempts and a slew of court cases that found him guilty of 34 felonies. The inauguration ceremony and related events were moved indoors because of below freezing temperatures. The swearing-in ceremony was done in the Capitol Rotunda. Thousands of Trump supporters gathered at Washington, D.C.'s professional sports arena. They watched on the Jumbotron the swearing-in of the president. After the events at the Capitol, Trump and his entourage joined the waiting crowd at the Capital One Arena to celebrate his return to the White House. Later in the day, true to his word, Trump signs his first round of executive orders. Notable among them were the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, orders, and presidential memoranda, the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty, and the full pardon of over 1,500 people involved in the January 6, 2021 assault on the Capitol. Rosel Ferrio, Washington, D.C. for Net 25 World News.
President Trump arrived fresh from the Oval Office, where he signed a series of executive actions. Among them, nearly 1,600 pardons connected to the January 6th Capitol riots. Now, many of those granted clemency are expected to be released within hours. Take a look.
The first item that President Trump is signing is the...
U.S. President Donald Trump signed a flurry of executive orders Monday after he was sworn in, swiftly imposing his will on the U.S. government and signaling a major departure from his Democrat predecessor, Joe Biden. He first signed a number of them in front of a crowd at Capital One Arena in Washington, then continued to do so in front of reporters at the Oval Office.
Pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people. Six commutations.
Were there any cases?
They included pardoning 1,500 of his supporters who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 4 years ago.
We hope they come out tonight, frankly.
Others declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border over illegal immigration and axed birthright citizenship for U.S.-born children of immigrants. Trump did not take immediate action on the economy or inflation. Those were the 2 issues that helped him win re-election. But he talked of imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico in the near future.
We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in. I think we'll do it February 1st.
Trump repealed 78 executive orders signed during the Biden administration, such as an order addressing risks from artificial intelligence, a 50% electric vehicle target by 2030, and Biden's removal of Cuba from the U.S. state sponsors of terrorism list. On equality and the environment, he axed at least a dozen measures that supported racial equity and fought discrimination against gay and transgender people. And Trump pulled the U.S. out from the Paris Climate Change Accord again. He withdrew the U.S. from the pact in his first term in office, an action reversed during the Biden presidency in 2021. Trump on Monday also signed an executive order to delay the enforcement of a ban on TikTok by 75 days.
If we wanted to make a deal with TikTok and it was a good deal, and China wouldn't approve it, then I think ultimately they'd approve it, because it would put tariffs on China. Maybe. I'm not saying I would, but you certainly could do that.
Trump also froze hiring in the federal government and ordered its workers to return to office full-time. And sources say Trump's transition team asked more than a dozen senior diplomats to step down from their roles as part of a broader plan to replace nonpartisan civil servants with loyalists.
On the same day, Joe Biden issued presidential pardons for members of the January 6 Congressional Committee. Donald Trump doubled down on his promise to pardon many of those involved in the Capitol riots. Moments after taking the oath of office, President Trump vowed clemency for his supporters who attacked the U.S. Capitol and law enforcement.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
In one of his final acts in office, former President Joe Biden issued preemptive pardons for members of Congress who investigated the January 6th attack, their staff and police officers who testified publicly. The House January 6 committee leaders clarified the pardons were granted not for wrongdoing, but for upholding the law. Biden also extended clemency to Dr. Anthony Fauci and former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley, both vocal critics of Trump. Milley's portrait was notably removed from the Pentagon walls after Trump's inauguration.
You know, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we trying to help a guy like Milley? Why are we doing Milley? He was pardoned. What he said, terrible what he said. Why are we helping some of the people? Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic and crying Adam Kinzinger. He's a super crying. I never saw the guy not crying. He's always crying.
This morning, on his way out the door, President Joe Biden issued a series of preemptive pardons. It's a very unusual move. His administration had decided that they think that Donald Trump is very serious about going after people he perceives as his political enemies. And so the folks that have been pardoned include Trump's former Joint Chief of Staff, Milley, Anthony Fauci, who was so influential during the COVID era, also Congress members who had investigated the Jan 6 attacks, and police officers and other people who had testified in that investigation. The U.S. president does have very, very broad pardon powers. It is unusual for someone to preemptively pardon like this. Last time that a president really did this in sort of a broad way was when Jimmy Carter preemptively pardoned people who had been drafted but had refused to serve in Vietnam. Whether or not these pardons will fully protect these people, if Donald Trump does decide that he or his administration want to go after them, is unclear. Presidential pardons only apply to federal crimes.
Former President Biden also pardoned family members, including his sister Valerie and brothers Francis and James. The latter had been accused of making false statements during investigations into the president's son, Hunter Biden. Biden dismissed these probes as baseless and politically motivated. As President Donald Trump takes office for his second term, already making waves with plans to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin. When asked by a reporter about the upcoming meeting, Trump confirmed that talks are in the works.
When are you going to be talking with Vladimir Putin?
Who?
Do you plan to meet President Putin, sir?
I'll be meeting with President Putin.
When do you think?
I don't know. I can't. It's being set up.
What your first trip for that might be, sir?
Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does. He might not. I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia's going to be in big trouble. You take a look at their economy. You take a look at the inflation in Russia. So I would hope. I got along with him great, and you know, I would hope he wants to make a deal.
Mr. President, are you keeping U.S. sanctions on Russia until he makes a deal?
Well, sanctions or tariffs. I think the word tariff is much better because it keeps your dollar stronger.
Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated President Trump on his inauguration and expressed his openness to dialogue on Ukraine and nuclear arms.
Their statements about wishing to restore direct contacts with Russia, suspended by the previous administration. We've heard his commitment to do everything to prevent World War III. Of course, we welcome this approach, and we congratulate the newly elected President of the United States on his inauguration. We have never been against dialogue. We have always been ready to maintain peaceful relationship. We would like to see the dialogue built upon equality and mutual respect.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also congratulated Trump and highlighted the potential for peace in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
He is a strong person. I wish President Trump and all of America success. Ukrainians are ready to work together with Americans to achieve peace, real peace. This is an opportunity that must be seized.
The world is watching closely as these leaders consider their next moves. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expressed his eagerness to work closely with U.S. President Donald Trump as he congratulated him on his inauguration. In a statement, he said, "Congratulations to POTUS at real Donald Trump and to the American people on another peaceful transfer of power in their nation's nearly 250-year history. I look forward to working closely with you and your administration." President Trump signed an executive order that ends birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants. Now, this is part of a series of border-related measures he's taking to overhaul U.S. immigration policy and strengthen border security.
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
What about that one?
Supporters and opponents of the order disagree over the meaning of the 14th Amendment, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Some legal experts argue that this action amounts to a constitutional change and can't be made through executive order. It's expected that civil rights groups and immigration activists will challenge the move in court. Trump's advisors and certain conservative legal scholars have long argued that granting birthright citizenship to the children of illegal immigrants is a misinterpretation of the amendment. The executive order states that birthright citizenship does not automatically apply to persons born in the U.S. under certain conditions, such as when a mother was unlawfully present in the U.S., or when a mother's presence was temporary under a visitor, student, or tourist visa, and the father was neither a U.S. citizen nor a lawful permanent resident. An emboldened Donald Trump marked his return to the presidency on Monday by declaring a golden age of America. Now, Trump laid out an aggressive plan to sign executive orders targeting immigration, boosting fossil fuel production, and rolling back environmental regulations. These moves signal the start of an ambitious agenda that could redefine the role of government while pushing the boundaries of presidential power. Still, some analysts are skeptical about how far Trump can go. Take a look.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world.
People who voted for Trump
sometimes invest this enormous hope that he will make the country completely different, that he will reverse whatever trend they're most upset about, whether it's the high number of foreign-born people or whether it's culture changing in ways that they don't approve of. And inevitably, and I must say with any president, not just Trump, a lot of those things are going to be disappointed.
All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
People get disappointed in one of the old sales pitches, and he's off to a new one. And maybe it's interesting, and maybe you want to follow his logic on it. And so even people who have been disappointed on a number of the past things, he gets the hook, like a great salesman, to intrigue them about what if this began to happen? Have you ever considered that America might, be off to new heights in this thing you've never even thought about? And before long, again, he's got their attention. He is the great attention getter.
A landslide in Indonesia's central Java city of Pekalongan killed 16 people and injured 10. An official at the country's disaster agency and police said today. Now, the landslide was triggered by heavy rains in the area. An official at the country's regional disaster mitigation agency, Bergas Katurasi, told news channel Kompas TV. The search for those missing has been hampered by rain. Landslides are frequent in Indonesia, especially in the rainy season, and the risk of landslides is often increased by deforestation and small-scale illegal mining operations in remote districts. A strong earthquake rattled southern Taiwan early today, leaving 27 people with minor injuries and causing some structural damage. The 6.4 magnitude quake struck just after midnight, centered about 24 miles southeast of Chiao County at a depth of 6 miles, according to Taiwan's Central Weather Administration. The USGS registered it slightly lower at magnitude 6. In Tainan, rescuers pulled 6 people, including a 1-month-old baby, from a collapsed house. Thankfully, all survived with only minor injuries. Meanwhile, the Zhuwei Bridge along a provincial highway was damaged, and reports of moderate damage have come in from Chiayi and Taiwan and Tainan. Taiwan's fire department also reported a fire at a printing factory in Chiayi. Crews extinguished the flames. No injuries were reported. In other incidents, 3 people were rescued after being trapped in elevators, 2 in Tainan and 1 in Chiayi. Despite the intensity, no fatalities have been reported, but authorities continue to survey the damage. Meanwhile, a large fire broke out in a commercial building near a famous tourist landmark, the Chutenkaku Tower in Osaka in western Japan. The fire broke out on the first floor of a 5-story building, and 26 emergency vehicles have been deployed to the site. Public broadcaster NHK reported, citing local police and fire departments. No other details, including whether there were any casualties, were available. Meanwhile, a deadly fire tore through an 11-story ski resort hotel in northwestern Turkey early Tuesday, killing at least 10 people and injuring 32 others. The blaze broke out around 3:30 a.m. on the western floor of the Grand Kartal Hotel at Bolu's Kartalkaya Ski Resort. The hotel, housing 234 guests at the time, caught fire during the start of a nationwide school holiday, a popular period for skiing trips from Istanbul and Ankara. TV footage showed flames engulfing the wooden exterior and bed sheets tied together, hanging from upper floor windows. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya confirmed the rising death toll and said over 250 responders tackled the fire. Investigators are working to determine the cause. And the news continues here on Net 25. We'll be right back.
Digital payments have revolutionized the way we transact. However, as technology advances, so do the threats posed by cyber criminals.
Kailangan pa rin talaga tayong mag-ingat, no? Maraming mga scammers na naghahanap pa rin ng pagkakataon para manloko.
Nagiging mas sophisticated na ngayon yung mga scammers natin. And dahil dyan, yung mga tinatawag nating rules of the game, kung paano ma-detect yung mga scams, nag-iiba din.
It's a partnership between the business and the consumers to really protect accounts and to protect their assets as well.
Online business, an open for business with Cesar Vallejos. Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sunday 25.
ngayong Sabado sa Motorcycle Republic.
Ang maganda dito, itong Cape Mohidor Lighthouse. Nung mga 1890s pa simula ginamit to, under dun sa Spanish administration. Hanggang ngayon, operational pa rin siya.
Salamat, Bayadak! Motorcycle Republic!
This is Motorcycle Republic, tuwing Sabado, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Let's knit together. Sunnet 25. Sunnet 25.
U.S. President Donald Trump expressed skepticism about the Gaza ceasefire deal when asked if he was confident that all three phases of the agreement would be implemented. Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office as he signed executive orders, Trump said the densely populated Palestinian enclave looked like a massive demolition site and that it had to be rebuilt in a different way.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the three phases of the deal?
I'm not confident. That's not our war, it's their war, but I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the two-state
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Do you plan to help in rebuilding Gaza?
I might. You know, Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. On the sea, best weather. You know, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
How do you see the future in governance for Gaza?
Well, it depends. I can't imagine you could have, well, you certainly can't have the people that were there. Most of them are dead, by the way, right? Most of them are dead. But they didn't exactly run it well. Run viciously and badly. So you can't have that.
Hamas announced its plans to release more hostages held in Gaza on Saturday, following earlier reports suggesting the release might happen a day sooner. Over 90 hostages are expected to be freed in the coming weeks under a ceasefire agreement reached with Israel earlier this month. And this deal aims to bring an end to the 15 months conflict in Gaza. In a statement, Hamas confirmed that Saturday's release will be part of a swap involving Palestinian prisoners currently detained in Israel. The agreement includes a 6-week initial ceasefire, a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, and the exchange of hostages for Palestinian detainees. Initially, Nahed al-Fakhuri, head of Hamas prisoners' media office, mentioned the hostages would be released on Sunday. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol appeared in court today for his impeachment trial, facing allegations tied to his brief attempt to impose martial law. Yoon, dressed formally, told the Constitutional Court he was committed to democracy and pledged to answer any questions.
대한민국에서 국회와 언론은 대통령보다 훨씬 강한 초갑입니다. 만약에 제가 무리를 해서 계엄 해제 요구 의결을 못하게 한다 해서 국회가 아니라 다른 장소에서도 할 수 있고 그 이후에 얼마든지 계엄 해제 요구를 할 수가 있습니다.
The trial stems from a December 14 parliamentary vote to impeach Yoon, accusing him of violating his constitutional duties. And this follows his December 3 martial law declaration, which was quickly overturned by lawmakers. Yoon's lawyers argue the impeachment is a political move by opposition parties misusing their majority power. Yoon, a former prosecutor, has been detained since last week under a separate criminal investigation into alleged insurrection, a charge that carries severe penalties, including life imprisonment. His legal team denies the claims, insisting Yoon acted lawfully. The Constitutional Court will decide whether to permanently remove Yoon or reinstate him. His attendance marks a departure from his refusal to cooperate with criminal proceedings, where he has declined summons and interrogations. And finally, in our news, Elon Musk's appearance at a Trump rally this afternoon has stirred quite a bit of buzz online, mainly because of a one-arm gesture he made while thanking supporters for helping secure Trump's victory. Musk placed his right hand over his heart and then extended the same arm straight out in front of him.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
Some users on X, the social media platform Musk's own, quickly pointed out that the gesture resembled a Nazi salute. In response, Musk took to X the backlash, saying, "Frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired." And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on Net 25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you for joining us. Good night.